This is More to Say with Randy Naughton. Interesting conversations with interesting people. We welcome you into another edition of the More to Say podcast. We appreciate all of your support over the last couple of years. Like, subscribe, share, follow me on social media. I'm pretty much on every social media platform at Randy Naughton. Randy with an I is the thing. If you need to get a hold of me, maybe you have an idea for the podcast or you want to sponsor, go to my website, randynaughton.com, and there's a contact page. Just email me, randy@randynaughton.com. And of course, we couldn't do this without all of our sponsors. We'd like to thank the Lemp Mansion in St. Louis. They've been on board for quite a while now, and they are coming up to one of the best seasons of the year so far. Events, meals, overnight stays, they have all kinds of things. Check out the events section at lempmansion.com. We would like to thank Team Jakey, which is a 501c3 in St. Louis, and they know all too well the horrors of losing someone to suicide. So they decided to start this organization. TeamJakey.org is their website. They do all kinds of amazing fundraisers, and basically they want to kind of end the stigma of mental illness. And you'll be hearing me talk a lot about that. And of course, the Mostly Superheroes podcast with my podcast partner, Logan Janis, who not only hosts that podcast, but he also is kind of our producer technical person, which I'm so grateful for him because I'm a technical nerd, as you know, and he's great. And don't forget, every time we air or drop a new episode of the More to Say podcast, you can also hear it on the Big 550 KTRS radio every Sunday evening. If you miss past episodes, it's easy. Go to ktrs.com, click on the podcast tab, and you'll see all of them that we've released so far. So anyway, I was reading an article not too long ago about a really cool concept about new mom school. Okay, this is for new moms, and it's like back in the day, we didn't have a handbook, to raise you kids. I came from a family of 7. My mother had 7 children by the time she was 30 years old, which explains a lot about not only her, but us, which I won't get into. But anyway, it's like, do you know what you're doing when you have your first child? What about your second child? What about an infant? What about a toddler? So there is something in St. Louis called the New Mom School, a brand new location. And Ali Kochtanek is the owner and instructor of it. And we welcome Ali to the More to Say podcast. How you doing?
Doing good. Thank you so much for having me.
I love this idea. I love this idea. And it's like, wait a minute. Moms are going to school to learn how to be moms. Isn't this an innate thing that we should just know as women? Not so, according to you, right?
Not so. Motherhood doesn't come with an instruction manual,
No.
and they kind of throw these babies at you after you have them and you go home and you're like, what am I doing? And motherhood can feel really isolating and lonely. And especially in the world that we live in today with information overload, you don't really know where to go, which path to take. And so in new motherhood, what we've learned is that support, and in particular group support, really helps moms ease into motherhood and kind of help that anxiety and those feelings of, what the heck am I doing? And so that's what New Mom School is going to aim to do.
That's awesome. And I understand it started in California, and this is the first location here in St. Louis. Basically, it talks about moms and babies in the 4th trimester, which is something we don't talk about. We
Sure.
have the book that I read as a mom to be. My daughter is now 32. What to expect when you're expecting, and now there's all kinds of information, as you mentioned, information overload almost. It's like, okay, every mom's different, every baby's different. So
Yeah.
tell us the structure of the classes and what you do in each one.
So this is kind of not like school when you go to school and you sit in the class and you just listen to the teacher. It's not really like that, although you do learn a lot. We come into class, we sit in a circle together. And what's unique about this program is that we group moms by their baby's birth date. So you're not in a class with someone with a baby who is much older or younger than yours,
Right.
because we really wanted to tailor these classes to the stage of motherhood that that particular woman was in. And then also tackling what you might want to know about your baby, but then also what you need for yourself. because we can't lose ourselves in this as well. So, we have a newborn class. So it's for 0 to 3 month olds. And so that's really that fourth trimester that you tackle. Things like nursing challenges or feeding challenges, soothing your fussy baby when your baby cries for hours and you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Learning kind of those basics. But then we also bring in experts. So they're expert led classes. So we have a pelvic floor therapist that will come talk to moms about their body changing. We'll have a pediatric physical therapist to talk about babies and tummy time and torticollis. So some of these things that you might have questions about, but you haven't gotten an answer necessarily from your doctor or yet, or you
Right.
haven't gone to that checkup yet. And so it's nice to then have those experts at your fingertips to ask questions in real time. Not only that, you have people in that group that get it. They're really in the trenches with you, so they get it with you, and that is kind of the magic of these groups, is being able to kind of have that village when the village isn't necessarily there anymore.
My next question is, I guess, two-part. First off, is what is your background? I guess, for lack of a better term, what makes you such an expert, Allie? And why did you start this? Is it true that it was kind of on the advice of one of your babysitters?
So there's a few things. First, I had 3 children in 4.5 years, and so, of course, I had these babysitters coming in with my first and second, and I was one of those people that really liked information and organization, and so I was really organized with the information that I was handing off to them. This is when they sleep, this is when they eat, this is what they like, all of this stuff. So when they went to have their babies, they were coming to me and saying, "I remember you, kind of knowing it all. Can you share this with us?" So I started an Instagram page on a whim, just kind of like real talk. Just this is motherhood. These are some of the basics, like, that it, some Instagram pages are so tailored and so perfect. I kind of wanted to show the imperfect of
The
motherhood,
messy part of it all.
the messy part,
Yeah.
because that was the real thing. So they encouraged me to kind of start that page, and that started my journey and this passion for helping moms. I became a certified postpartum doula, which is, being trained to help moms emotionally, also giving them information and education, as well as offering practical advice, or I'm sorry, practical help in their home. Um, then once I started putting moms in groups and helping them, very much like New Mom School, I became a pediatric sleep consultant, because we all know how important sleep
Right,
is,
right.
especially to maternal mental health, but just for everyone's wellness overall. So became a sleep consultant, and so kind of through all of this, found New Mom School. They have been around since 2012, have helped over 10,000 moms in California, and they started franchising. And I was like, how can I not open this in St. Louis and give this to the moms that they just so deserve that kind of support and love, and that landing spot after they have their babies? Like, this is what all moms deserve in their care.
So when you became a new mom, and I'm going to ask you something personal, when you became a mom for the first time, what do you know now that you wish you knew with your first newborn?
You know what? I wish that I knew that there was no perfect. That I thought that if I knew it all, and that if I could do it perfectly, that it would just come together in harmony, and I've had this perfect motherhood with these perfect babies. And what I know now is that motherhood is just about learning as you go and embracing all of the changes that come with that. And there is no perfect, and perfect doesn't exist. And that it's okay for it to be messy. And who really taught me that were the friends that I met along the way, because they really gave me that outside look of like, hey, it's not perfect for them either. And we get to talk about these things, and we get to commiserate together, and that really helped me understand that motherhood is just, it's one big messy ride,
It
and they're
sure
full
is.
of ups and downs. And I want all new moms to know that, because new moms come into it, I think, having a standard and an expectation that it's going to go really well. And it's not always like that. And so just understanding that part of it, I wish I would have known that.
Yeah, let's be honest. Everybody's household is different. Everybody's family dynamic is different. Everybody's employment situation is different. Everybody's relationship status is different. So all of that factors into the care of the baby. And I'm only saying hubby, not being stereotypical. He's working an overnight shift. So should he have to get up in the middle of the day to help with baby? And, whose job is this, that, and the other thing? Obviously, it's the whole family, but you're right. It's not a perfect science. What about if you deal with medical issues or, peer pressure or mother-in-law pressure, or again, I'm being stereotypical, forgive me. But there's so many dynamics that come into play here when it comes to raising only one child that, you're right. The word perfect does not come into play. Not at all.
No, not at all.
Hi, everyone. It's Randy Naughton from the More to Say podcast with another sponsor shout out. When is the last time you've been to the Lemp Mansion in St. Louis? Did you know it is one of the most haunted places in all of North America with an incredible history? It's a beautiful building, first of all, and they've got so many events. When's the last time you've been there? They've got boozy bingo, holiday brunches, events like weddings and parties, a scavenger hunt, overnight stays, if you dare, Spirit with the Spirit tours, and their legendary all-you-can-eat family-style fried chicken dinners on Sundays. It's amazing. So listen, check it out on their website at lempmansion.com. We thank them for supporting our More to Say podcast, and I'll see you at the Lemp. Hi, everyone. It's Randy Naughton from the More to Say podcast. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast over the tons of episodes we've done so far. Somebody I want to shout out specifically to is an organization called Team Jakey. They are one of the sponsors of the More to Say podcast, and I couldn't be more grateful to be partnering with them. What is Team Jakey? Well, this family, the Zeller family, knows all too well what it's like to lose somebody to suicide. So that happened to them. Their beloved Jake took his own life. And what they want to do, they've set out on a quest to end the stigma of mental illness. So Team Jakey puts together all these amazing community events year round to help raise the awareness and prevent suicide and end the stigma of mental illness. So we would love it if you followed them on Facebook, Team Jakey and the Stigma. And of course, thank you for supporting the More to Say podcast as well. Team Jakey is one of our partners, and we are so happy to have them on board. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on the podcast.
Hey there, it's Logan Janice from Mostly Superheroes, the podcast. Whenever you're done with this episode, be sure to go check out our show at mostlysuperheroes.com or by searching Mostly Superheroes podcast on Google, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your shows, really. But mostlysuperheroes.com is where you want to be. Check out our event calendar, our past episodes like reviews of Superman, Fantastic Four, and be sure to listen to the recent episode of More to Say with Randy Naughton, where Randy interviewed me, Logan, on her show, and was even featured on the Big 550 AM KTRS. Randy came on our show a while back. You can still go check that out at mostlysuperheroes.com. From Logan, Arena Andy, Scotty Scoop, Sam the Sleeper, and the Mostly Superheroes squad. Thanks for tuning in to More to Say with Randy Naughton, and check out Mostly Superheroes when you're done. Enjoy the rest of this episode, and take it easy.
Rise energy strips. And you're like, Rise? I've seen those. I've heard of those. RIIZE, and the chief medical officer with Rise Health Strips, with the energy strips. And this is Dr. Joe Molesky. And you're like, I know that guy. And he's going to tell us all about it.
Thanks for having me, Randy. Really what Rise is, or riseup.com, we are a supplement company, but we're different because we provide a different method of delivery. And that method of delivery is a strip. So I'm sure you guys heard of like the Listerine strip or the breast strips, that we put other vitamins and nutrients inside there, like B12, energy. We make it reasonably priced compared to some of the pill versions, or just figure out how much a Starbucks coffee or an energy drink costs. I mean, those are $5-6 a piece. So we make it reasonable. We make it convenient. We make it for you.
It is
Yes.
RIIZE, riseup.com, if you want to get in on this latest craze in supplement delivery system. It's under the tongue. It dissolves in moments, works in minutes. So you want to maybe check that out to see which one might work for you for whatever you'd like to help or correct. Dr. Joe Molesky, I thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Rise up.
So each child, you think like, oh, well, with each baby, it gets easier. And it's not necessarily the case either. And so for me, my firstborn, she was, typical, stereotypical first child. But second, he was born with a genetic disorder. And so that throws you through a completely different
Yeah.
loop. And with each of your births, you kind of come into this new knowing. And so I think that that's important to say.
So I would imagine also when new moms go into the new mom school, whether it be with a newborn or a toddler or an infant stage or whatever age group, I'm guessing there's a lot of getting things off your chest as well. It's not, I'm guessing, because I've not attended this, that it's not all a kumbaya thing. If you want to punch a pillow, you can punch a pillow, right?
Sure. Oh my gosh. It has to be. It has to be. Of course we're there to share our wins, but we have to share our struggles too. And that is actually what really does help the moms connect to one another and create those friendships and bonds. All of a sudden, when the first class moms are coming in, they're a little bit hesitant. This might be the first time they're leaving their house, getting their baby ready, getting themselves ready. That is a whole thing.
Yeah.
And then by the 8th week, you watch them coming in being really confident in how they're coming in. It doesn't take them 3 hours anymore. And what's really cool is that we are seeing that when moms start off the classes, we're in these chairs on the ground, these comfortable chairs, and they're spread out. And as the weeks go on, the moms are moving closer and closer and closer in together. And it's such a beautiful representation of what's happening throughout the weeks in terms of comfort level, friendships and bonding that is supposed to happen in motherhood. Again, this just was never supposed to be a solo sport. Mothering throughout humanity has always been in a circle with
A
other.
community effort.
It's a community effort,
Yeah.
and it really is a part of our humanity that's missing in today's world. And so there's something just really special about putting these moms in the circle and watching them get closer. It's just really neat.
And I mentioned my own parents before we started. A huge, huge family and a blue collar family growing up. It was chaos in my childhood. Meal times, playtime, everything was chaos. So I learned some things, good and bad, from my own childhood and infused it into me being a mom, raising my one and only daughter. And you know what? I didn't hit a home run every time. I made a lot of mistakes and did a lot of self reflecting. So I think if I had something like this in the long run, I'm sorry, when I was like a new mom, it really could have helped me along the way. But, thankfully, my daughter is alive and well and healthy and thriving and all that good stuff today. So we want to talk about how the classes are structured. And correct me if I'm wrong, 4 8-week, 90-minute classes. You get first time newborn moms, second time plus newborn moms, infants, rising toddlers, 6 to 12 months. Is that right?
Correct. So we have a
Okay.
newborn class for first time parents and then also for second time,
Oh,
third time,
gotcha.
whatever. So we don't have the same curriculum for a first time parent and a second time because we know you probably know how to soothe your fussy baby and that
Right.
sort of thing. But you might be interested in toddler baby dynamics, and your toddler sleep, not necessarily your infant. So we changed the curriculum there. And then, yes, so the infant class is for 3 to 6 month olds, and then rising toddler is for 6 to 12 month olds.
Okay. So it's called New Mom School and we're talking about moms, but you said the word parents. Are boys allowed?
So the classes are strictly for
There
moms,
you go. Okay.
and because mostly because we want moms to be able to feel really comfortable, maybe nursing for the first time in public, in this group setting, changing their babies, and really just it's the mom experience that we're really talking about here. Changes with your partner, changes in your relationship. We want moms to feel really safe and open talking about those things.
Right.
But I will tell you that there will be programming for dads. So we'll
Oh,
have events
nice.
like Dads and Donuts. So we'll have the dads come in with their babies and be able to socialize with one another as well and have a dad's day out. So we don't want to leave dads out completely because it is super important that parents are involved in education together. Just happens to be that our class curriculum is geared towards moms. And the short of it is also that we will have classes or um, things run at night where it might be, or in the evenings that might involve dads as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, so if there is a mom to be or already a mom who's expecting their second, when is the best time for them to register? Like before the baby comes, after the baby comes?
Sure. So we encourage our moms to sign up for class before they give birth because we know that after you give birth, it's basically like your world has blown up. It's hard to even brush your teeth and take a shower. So we want you to know that you're expecting, I signed up for new mom school. I will come to class once a week for an 8-week series. And that is already part of my postpartum plan for care. And so, for those moms who are pregnant, we want you to sign up in your second or third trimester. You just put in your due date. We know that moms don't give birth exactly on their due date. So, we just ask that you let us know when the baby's actually born. And once we have that group of 8 to 10 moms, we group you together and we let you know which day of the week you'll be meeting.
That's awesome. And I know people are like, okay, well, how much is this going to cost me? Does insurance cover it? Things like that.
Yeah, so our classes will be at first they'll be 50% off. So our first 50 moms that sign up will get 50% off. And then we will be coming out with tiered pricing just based on our opening. It will come out to about $30 a class. So around 275 for our newborn classes. And then for our rising toddlers, about 175, just because we have experts coming in for those younger age classes and so, yeah, hopefully that is, at least I feel like $30 a class is something that I would be more than willing to pay for
You
that
spend
sort
that
of
on
care.
lunch these days, right?
You
Easily.
do, probably at Starbucks. Yeah.
Exactly. So, this, as I mentioned, is likely not going to air for a while. When are classes happening? Are they happening
Yes.
now?
So we actually just signed our lease at the Town and Country Medical Building, which is just a stone's throw south of our main hospital systems, Missouri Baptist and Mercy, 2821 North Dallas, Suite 220. And we are starting our just a little bit of renovation process. And so hopefully we are going to be starting classes here in October. But what I would encourage you to do is that if you're interested in classes or have someone that you know that you'd like to pass this information on to, they can go on to our website and just join the wait list. And so then they'll be on the wait list as soon as we know more and when registration opens, they'll be the first to know.
That's awesome. So, what is the website, Allie?
Yeah, so I'll give you the exact link, but it's newmomschool.com and then it will be STL West County and there's a bunch of dashes in there. So I will make sure to get that exact
Okay.
microsite to you. But if you go to newmomschool.com, you can toggle down to Missouri and St. Louis West County and you'll find us.
How many new mom schools are there throughout the US?
So they started this opportunity to open in new territories 2 years ago, and I believe there are now 37
Wow.
locations across the U.S., which I believe shows the need for this kind of support in the United States right now.
Yeah, parents need all the help they can get these days, right?
Yeah, it's an actual epidemic. They're saying that maternal mental health is at an all-time low.
Really.
And truly this is just it's not a luxury, it's actually a necessity we're excited to be able to bring it to St. Louis.
That's awesome. Starting in October. And if you want to get on the wait list again, you can jump on the website. Ali Kochtanek, she is the owner and instructor of the New Mom School St. Louis edition. And I thought this was so interesting and so intriguing. And I wish you nothing but the best with your endeavor here in St. Louis. It just sounds like an awesome addition to the area.
Oh, thank you so much, Randy. I appreciate it.
All right. And thank you all for joining us on the More to Say podcast. Of course, once again, thank you to all of our sponsors, the Lent Mansion in St. Louis. Great events throughout the year, lentmansion.com, teamjakey.org. They too have a brand new website you need to check out. They have amazing events. They want to help end the stigma of mental illness because, they lost a loved one to suicide, and they want to hopefully prevent suicide, and they're mental health advocates throughout the area, and they're fantastic people. The Zellers are golden as far as a family goes. And of course, our thanks to my podcast partner, Logan Janis from the Mostly Superheroes podcast. He's the one who puts together all the good technical stuff. And I thank Logan as well. And don't forget, you can hear More to Say with Randy Naughton every Sunday evening on the Big 550 KTRS radio. All you need to do is go to ktrs.com and click on the podcast tab, and you can hear this and many other episodes. Thank you for joining us again on the More to Say with Randy Naughton podcast. Until next time.
This has been More to Say with Randy Naughton. Interesting conversations with interesting people. Be sure to like or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.